What is good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts. And you know what? For me, Sunday is a chill day. For most of you, a day to relax and get yourself ready for the working week. And now that it's not the transfer window, I'm not expecting any bombshells, any big stories to drop on a Sunday. I'm expected to just relax and have a good time. And that's not the case. We have had some news on a situation I thought was, done and dusted. The Nicolas Jackson saga. Yes, it continues. We had agreed the loan. The obligation had been set. We have come to terms with Jackson leaving the club next summer. It's all been done. It's all been sorted. Well, that's what I thought. And then today, we have had Uli Hoeneß, a board member of Bayern Munich, ex-club president, come out and, give his thoughts, speak on the Nicolas Jackson move, and also advise us on a little bit of information that we had not known yet. Now, I've been speaking since this loan deal had been done regarding, what are the stipulations for it? What does, Bayern Munich, what does Nicolas Jackson have to achieve in order to make this a mandatory obligation to buy? And there's not been really any information on it until now. So, Ennis has spoken, and this is what he has had to say on Nicolas Jackson and Bayern Munich. Hennis on Jackson. It's not a 16.5 million loan fee because the player and his agent are contributing 3 million. So that leaves 13.5 million. And there will definitely not be a permanent contract. That only happens if he plays 40 games from the start. He will never do that. Well, damn, Ennis. Talk about speaking from the heart. He's definitely, put some things into perspective. It's not looking good in a sense. I mean, there's two ways you can look at it. Maybe he's trying to spur Jackson on, saying that you have to do this if you want to make this permanent. But there are a lot of easier ways to go about trying to spur your players on and give them a vote of confidence. This sort of like going in the opposite direction and maybe putting in a nail in Jackson's coffin before he's even laid to rest. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this. On the one hand, it's not really a bad situation for us in any situation if he, does the obligation, manages to complete these 40 games, and then it becomes mandatory for them. We get the money. Brilliant, great, it's what we want. We get what we want for Jackson. If he doesn't, and from the sounds of it, he's not going to, he's pretty upfront about that he's not going to start 40 games. I mean, they're already a few games in and he hasn't been involved in anything yet. He's probably had not even trained with Bayern Munich as of yet because he's on international duty. So he's still got to get into the squad, and then he has to, according to this, start 40 games. Now, he has to break in. Like I said, he's got to break into the squad first. If he's going to try and break in to be the striker, he's not getting in front of Harry Kane. His best opportunity is to probably try and get onto one of the wings, and even that is going to be a tough task for him. So, on the other side, if it doesn't happen and he doesn't complete the 40, he doesn't make it a mandatory buy option, and he comes back, we're still going to probably look to sell him to another club next transfer window in the summer and probably still make around the same money, especially if he has a good spell at Bayern. If anything, that's going to increase his cost or make it more likely that we're going to get what we want for the player. I just find this really strange to come out at a position of power, because I mean, this is a board member, so it's above the sporting directors, it's above the managers, it's it's at the top, and they've come out and publicly said this. I do find that really, really odd, and I wouldn't want my board members coming out and saying that about a player that I've just seen sign for my club. It I don't know if it gives any confidence to the fan. Definitely for me, it's probably not going to give any confidence to the player, especially how much they pushed for this. I mean, his agent is probably seething at the teeth. He needs to now work out how to make planes go backwards, because it looks like Jackson at the moment could be heading back to Chelsea in the summer. But yeah, I really don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Would you be fine if Jackson comes back? And if this is the case and it's basically a foregone conclusion that it's not going to be an obligation to buy, are you happy with this deal? I find it strange that Chelsea, even accepted these terms, and it was probably more that they just wanted to get him out to get the fee. Was this also the reason why we didn't see us go in for a striker? Because in the back of their mind, they already knew Jackson was coming back in the summer, and they would still need to shift him on and bring that money in order to get a third striker. Of course, we can talk about Emmanuel Omega, who is tipped to be that new third choice striker, playing at Strasbourg, doing very well last season. He's doing well again this season. He's scored a few goals already, and that is eyed as the potential third choice and what looked like is going to happen from the summer of 2026. So maybe that's why they've agreed to it. I do find it strange, but yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel about this situation now that we've got a bit more information on what the stipulations are for the obligation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, moving on from, Chelsea related stuff, Reece James played for England against Andorra, a little bit more of a snooze fest. Andorra, good defensively, a team that, a lot of the top teams, Spain and that, do struggle to score many goals against. It used to be back in the day, you'd be tapping 5, 6, 7 goals past them. But they've definitely shored up defensively since then. Not much of a goal threat, though, I have to be honest. And I'm not going to talk too much about England because it is a frustrating topic at the moment. We're not playing the most fluent football. There's some questionable names in the team, although I do understand one of them naturally is going to come up with Henderson. I think it's more of a leadership thing than anything else. I don't see him as being a big part or even a part when the World Cup comes around, apart from being that sort of leadership. Tomori, why is he not, being involved in the squad? I think he's been one of the best centre-backs that we've had for a very long time, over years, and no manager has really seemed to bring him in, even just to give him a little go, see what he's like. I thought there were some good positives in, I think it was Elliot Anderson in the midfield, who I thought was really good. Surprising, not seeing much place for Nottingham Forest, but he looked really good in that 6th role. He was popping the ball around really, really quickly, looking at 1-2 touches, playing the ball out from the back really quickly, and breaking things up when he could. He looked very mobile, very technical, and very good on the ball. So that'll definitely be an interesting one to watch out. Ex-Chelsea player Madueke, I thought he did, relatively well. Probably our most influential attacking threat on the day. He was looking to drive at people. And, make chance, have put in a great cross for the own goal. And then, Reece James popping up with an assist as well. Another great crossing. I mean, his crossing is unrivaled. He's probably one of the best crossing right backs in world football. And I think Trent's going to have a big task in getting just even back into the squad, because he seems to have fallen out of favour with Tuchel regardless. And then if he does get brought back in, if Reece James can stay fit and, keep the continuity that he's playing at the moment, I don't see how Trent is going to get ahead of him. But yeah, there's some positives, some negatives. The football is still a bit stodgy at the moment, but again, it's going to take time, although World Cup is just around the corner, so they need to start gelling something very, very, very quickly. But we also have to say there are quite a few names that you would put in as your starters that were missing. So yeah, I'm not taking too much of it. The next game on Tuesday against Serbia, that's going to be a good test, because they have always given us a test in the past. So that will be a good test for Tuchel, and we can sort of see where England are and if they are heading, hopefully in the right direction. Another positive note for Chelsea ladies, opening their Premier League season on Friday against Man City, winning 2-1. Beaver Jones scoring. They also unveiled Alyssa Thompson, who's the new attacking forward for the women's team, as well as a debutant in Ellie Carpenter, who was superb on the day. A great, great debut for her. Great crossing for the goal for Beaver Jones as well. So all in all, the women are looking as sharp as ever. And that was even without Lauren James and Sam Kerr, who was on the bench. So they've still got strides to go on, and hopefully they can win that all-eluding Champions League trophy that has been eluding them for many, many years this season. But that is all from me at the moment, guys. Mainly just wanted to touch on the Nicolas Jackson situation and see how that is occurring and the new information we've come out regarding Jackson. But for now, guys, take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.